Good afternoon. I'm Constable Jason E. Young with RCMP K Division Auto Theft Unit North. I'm part of a 4-persons team that takes care of Edmonton North. Our whole group of auto theft unit is composed of 6 specialists who are very good investigators, 2 in the south and 4 in the north. I am one of them. I'm here today to talk to you about auto theft and auto theft deterrence in the province of Alberta, of what I've seen from my time here in auto theft. I've been in the auto theft unit from 2010 till present day here today. So I've definitely had the opportunity to see what is definitely prevalent here in Alberta. So I got to tell you one thing before I begin. Myself, in 1999, prior to being an RCMP member and prior to being in the auto theft unit, I was a victim of auto theft crime. That definitely probably assisted me in being in this unit by promoting me and helping me to work forward and very diligently on the auto theft cases. I got to tell you, I was in disbelief that I couldn't believe that this happened to me, that I was a victim of auto theft crime. Why did it happen to me? I never took precaution and safety measures seriously. And because of that incident itself, it left me being a victim. And to this day, I'm still psychologically traumatized that I will never forget what happened to me. So why is auto theft so prevalent in Alberta? And we're going to go over a few issues in relation to that. So the Insurance Bureau of Canada statistics. On average, a car is stolen every 7 minutes in Canada. Auto theft is a very serious threat. Every year, people are injured or die due to auto theft. And I've experienced this firsthand from my job occupation and seeing what happens. That in the hands of a thief, a stolen car is like a loaded gun. That vehicle thieves have no regard for public safety, police safety, and the safety of others and the rules of the road. Auto theft is not a victimless crime. It's not just a crime that's prevalent in Alberta, but it truly is. Auto theft costs Canadians millions of dollars. If you look at in relation to healthcare costs, the court costs, the policing costs, the out-of-pocket costs in relation to deductibles, those are all very real. And you won't know that until you've become a victim. How do we deter auto theft? I can tell you as well, from experience-wise, on vehicles that do not have the immobilizer or no anti-theft system, that without a key, they can be stolen in 30 seconds or less. Fighting crime involves many partners, and this is why we're here today. Auto theft doesn't define any boundaries. Its jurisdiction, whether it's political, geographical, administrative, it's more than just an insurance thing or a policing problem. The fight against auto theft requires the cooperation of many people and many partners involved in our community. It starts with automobile owners like yourselves, myself included, the police, the auto manufacturers, the service and repair manufacturers, the car repairers, the automobile insurance, and the theft deterrent system accessories that are placed on those units. Licensing, custom and authorities, and the whole judicial system itself. We all have to work together to address this issue. So looking at the Insurance Bureau of Canada, what are we seeing that's being stolen in Alberta? Nationally, there's a deviation and a difference. But here in Alberta, we see the theft of Ford F-350, F-250 trucks are prevalent. They take over half of the top 10 list. And this is dating back from early 2000s to where we are present day here today. and that's been a 6% increase. There's been a slight decrease this year in 2020, but still the top 5 are taken by the Ford F-350 and F-250 series that do not have the Ford PAT system. So why are these vehicles being stolen? Stolen vehicles may be sold to customers who don't know that they're buying a stolen vehicle. That is one thing. The second thing is that they are stolen to commit other crimes, that what they're used for. The third thing that we're seeing, and especially through times right now in relation to COVID, that vehicles are being stolen and they're being parted out for their parts because there's a demand out there for the parts and pieces, especially for the powertrains of these Ford F-Series trucks. So who is behind auto theft? It's organized crime rings in relation to auto theft, that they use the proceeds and use these funds of a stolen vehicle to further commit criminal activity and fund those activities. That's what we're seeing. So what can RCMP observe in Alberta? I have a slide here in front of you today that you will get to see of a Ford truck without the PAT system. And the PAT system is the passive anti-theft security system. So this one does not have it, and this is what a majority of the trucks in Alberta have. As you can see from this photo, the door lock is punched on the door. As we move to the inside, the slide on the left, there's the ignition. The ignition has been compromised, and if you look to the photo on the right, on the floor, there's a standard tip screwdriver with a pair of vice grips. So what the clients do, they place the standard tip screwdriver into the ignition, they lock a set of vice grips on the screwdriver, and they torque and compromise the tool. That breaks the ignition, and that's how easily you can start an F-Series truck. What happens to the majority of these vehicles? As I've stated before, they're either sold to unsuspecting buyers with a different VIN number and a different identity. They're used to commit other crimes, to steal trailers, to steal other property, to be used to steal other things. Or third, they're used and they're parted out. The majority that we do recover, in some instances, the result is very, very drastic. Most that we do get to see end up burnt, and it's a total catastrophe. The truck destroyed, money from insurance, money to the other people, the owner, if they didn't have insurance, is huge. And it's a very, very real situation. If we look at the cost of a new Ford Series truck in Alberta here today, this stat here is from 2018. So if we're looking at the Platinum to the Limited Edition, top of the line, for an F-Series truck back in 2018, top of the line was over $95,000. As of today, that exact same vehicle, you're looking in excess of $110,000 for one vehicle. That's a lot of money.
The Trunk Monkey Theft Retrieval System. Because sometimes getting your car back is simply not enough. Another revolutionary idea you'll only find at Suburban Auto Group, pending approval by Department of Agriculture.
So we're going to go into auto theft, deterrence, and prevention. I'm going to give you some tips, what I've learned, and what the National Insurance Crime Bureau has put out there to better help you to not be a victim of auto theft crime. And what they do is they use a layered approach. So professional thieves can steal a car, but you want to make them work for it. by layering the protection. The more protection that you layer into your vehicle, or the more tips that you take, the more difficult it'll be for those thieves to take your vehicle, and or they'll move on to an easier target. So that is the approach that we're looking at. Make your vehicle hard for them to take. So just coming back, we're just going to quickly look at the top 10. As I've stated before, that the F-Series trucks from early 2000 to where we are in 2020 and 2021, the F-Series trucks hit a majority of the top 8. As I've stated before, since 2021, since 2020, as of last year, they've taken 5 spots. There's been a shift of different trucks coming in, but the Ford F-Series truck with the non-PATs is still the prevalent truck being stolen in Alberta. So our layered approach, our common use sense: lock your doors and take your key or your key fob with you. I know that sounds very, very simple, but you have to understand there's a million things going on in life. People are forgetful, they're thinking of other things, and they're not thinking about their vehicle being a target. And I'd hate to say that not all times, but sometimes, people leave their fobs and their key or an extra key in that vehicle, and that's all it takes for that vehicle to be entered, because the doors are unlocked, the fob is right there, or the keys, and the vehicle is started and taken that quick. So please take your keys and lock your doors. The next thing I would add is that if you can, add an audible deterrent. That would be like an alarm, a steering lock device that you apply to the steering wheel, a brake lock that attaches to the brake on the car and cannot move because it engages your brake, and an alarm system. Those would be secondary to you taking your keys or your fob and locking your doors and removing your valuables. The third, it's a little bit of a more strategic approach, and you may have to talk or solicit with a good family friend who's a technician, that they may help you and point you in the right direction. One would be to engage your inertia switch if your vehicle has it, which shuts off the fuel to your vehicle. So the vehicle can be started, but will only run for so long because the fuel cutoff is cut off to the vehicle. The next thing would be a fuel injection relay. And like I said, it's something that you would have to do by speaking with a technician in the family, or take it to a service technician and talk to. By removing a fuel injection relay, the vehicle, even if the keys were present, or the fob, the vehicle wouldn't be able to start. So something to think about. Not everybody will do this, but it's also an avenue that you can look at. The fourth avenue, and they're very, very important, and almost every part of industry is using them now, so it's something to consider. They're a universal GPS tracking system. So depending on the vehicle you have, depending on the budget you have, depending where you live in Alberta, there are different GPS systems that you can get and purchase externally from buying the vehicle, and have those units be placed, or a unit be placed in your vehicle, and you can track your vehicle should it ever be stolen or taken. It's a peace of mind